Good afternoon, everyone. Live from Silicon Valley, California. This is Success Sadhana. My name is GM, and I welcome you all to a program today where we'll discuss Moved by Love. As you know, Vaish is on a trip to India for 4 weeks. He's spending a lot of his time in doing meditation, discussing spiritual topics with many people there. But he has encouraged, as always, that we keep meeting and we keep continue to discuss spiritual topics so that the transcendental vibration continues. So that's what we are here, gathered here to do so. So thank you all for joining. And I do see Makhana here, Mayank, Poonam, Subramaniam, and Shwika. So thank you for joining. And the rest all who are on Facebook. So what we'll do today is, as usual, we'll start with some breathing exercise so that we can get centered. And followed by, we'll discuss some of the topics related to Moved by Love, which Baisha suggested. So let's get started. Please close your eyes. Sit up a little straight than usual. And take deep breaths in and out. And as you take breaths, please focus your attention on the breath. Inhale. Exhale. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. As you breathe in and breathe out, start paying attention to your body. Focus on your feet. Ask it to relax. And when you say relax, you will see that feet is following your instruction. It will relax. Ask your legs to relax. They've been working very hard. So let them relax. Ask your thighs to relax. Keep breathing in and breathing out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Ask your stomach to relax. In. Out. Ask your chest to relax. Ask your arms to relax. Ask your neck, cheek, face to relax. Ask your eyes to relax. Ask your foreheads, eyebrows to relax. Deep breath in. Out. In. out. Now we'll chant some Om mantra to get vibrations of the mantra. Deep breath in. Deep breath in. Deep breath in. Deep breath in. Please feel the vibration of the mantra on your face, in your heart region, in your body, as you breathe in and breathe out. And let's be grateful for the opportunity to be alive, to breathe, to associate, and to be with each other. Breathe in, breathe out. Rub your palms slowly. Open your eyes. And let's come back to the Zoom room. Thank you everyone for joining today. Jesse, Linda, Tony. How are you all doing? Great. Yeah, I see thumbs up. Thank you. So we'll start with today's discussion, Moved by Love. We'll start, let me share my screen and we'll watch a short clip. I'm sure many of us would relate to this clip. Then we can have some reflection. So I'm sharing my screen. Hopefully you can hear the audio. Let me know if you don't hear the audio.
I'd like to give this to you.
Can I give you a hug?
Yeah, of course.
Well, tonight, hearts are melting for this Valley woman, featured in a viral video. She's been down on her luck, and so many of you have been asking how to lift her spirits.
And Navita Forgani is live. And Navita, you tracked her down tonight in the Valley, and it's a park that you found her in that she sometimes is forced to call home.
Yeah, this is where she's called home for the last 3 months, sleeping on park benches, under trees. And Katie and Steve, she never thought her luck was ever going to change.
Thank you so much. I've never been homeless before.
So Dawson Gurley thought he'd see what it was like.
Just being out there for 2 hours at a time, it just felt like I don't know. I couldn't imagine doing it full time.
He got rejected quite a few times.
Spare some change, sir? I need to get a job.
But what Dawson was doing was more than just role playing,
But today, I wanted to give back to the people that are giving to the homeless.
paying it forward one person at a time.
Everyone's eyes like lit up and they didn't really believe it. They're like, wait, you want to give this to me? Don't you need this?
But Dawson's life changed when he met Sharna Foley.
I was outside of Fry's supermarket just asking people for money. She was actually there. She said that I was in her spot.
Really, I was thinking, okay, the sun's gonna start beaming. I am out here early enough. Now I'm gonna start a little later than normal.
For the last 3 months, this is where Sharna has called home.
I have nothing.
A picnic table in a park.
I never thought I'd ever be in this position, but it's rough. It's demoralizing.
And on the day she met Dawson, she had no idea how he was going to change her life.
I think that I'd like to give this to you.
Can I give you a hug?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Sharna spent all but $1 of the $20 Dawson gave her,
It's a dollar of love. It's a care dollar.
holding on to it, hoping it'll help turn things around.
And she does have a lot of faith that things will eventually turn around. And if you want to take action to help Sharna Foley.
It was a short clip. I really liked the action which was taken and how it touched the heart of Shauna. Any reflection or any thoughts after watching that clip, or any questions? You can type it in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and share your thoughts. Poonam says very touching and selfless. Thanks. Makna says, I'm not verbal today, but I loved the video. Touching. Thank you, Makna. While watching this video, it reminded me of my time as well. As I told previously, I'm very thankful to the society who helped me with my education and everything. And always had a sense of gratefulness to all of them, because of which I'm here where I am. And I remember that I was working in Mumbai. It's a place in India. I was a bachelor at the time. I had just gotten a good job, able to take care of my family. And the sense of gratefulness, thankfulness was always with me, that, I got this job because of the education, which the society came forward and helped me out in education. So when I'll go, morning time was rush because you have to catch your train and go to office. It will always be rush, just rushful time. But in the evening, when I come back from office, I remember that every day I used to carry some coins in my pocket of different denominations. And while coming back, I usually will go to a restaurant near my home for my dinner before I head out to the room where I was living as a paying guest. And during that time, with my pocket full of coins, I will always be looking for people whom can I give this to, so that I can make somebody happy. And most of the days I was able to find a few people whom I will give and give it to them. But there'll be some days where I'll find no one. And on those days, I will be feeling morose that even if you want to give, you need to actually have Supreme's mercy that he gives you an opportunity to actually even give. But whenever I was giving, it was always with a sense of gratefulness. It was not that I was giving, look, I'm giving you money and I'm making you better, but it was always as if I am a custodian, like I have been given this opportunity, otherwise I wouldn't be here. And I have been given this opportunity because of society. I'm just giving back to society what they gave me. So it was always with that sense, which I shared, and that helped me a lot in terms of my own inner satisfaction in doing that act. So when I saw this video, I could connect to that episode in my life, and how I felt and how others felt around me. So just thought I'll share that. And yeah, Linda posted beautiful video. Everything I have ever given to anyone else always comes back to me in another form. Very true, Linda. Thank you for sharing that. So today, as mentioned in this video, we all know love is one of the highest form of emotion, which always touches our heart. It moves us. So what can we do so that we can prepare ourselves to be moved, so that we can be in that state where we can be moved, and also what actions can we take so that we can move others with love. So those are some of the topics we'll discuss today. Any questions or any other reflections before we go through a few slides on some of the thoughts which Vash had shared previously? No? Okay. So let's get started. I'll present and get started. So everyone is forced to act within the world. The Bhagavad Gita 3.5 says, Nahi kaschit shanam api jatu tishtati karmakrit karyate hi avasha karma sarvaha prakriti jair gunet. Translation: everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the qualities he has acquired from the modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. We all know, inherently, that we all are always active. Why it's so? Back in 16th century, René Descartes, he said, I think, therefore I am. So he was trying to reason and prove the existence, and his philosophy was that because I think, therefore I am, which means I'm conscious, and hence I can prove that I exist. And just to extend that statement, if you think, therefore you'll act, because you think, because that's where all the action starts from. And what it also means is to be alive is to be active. You can look at all the living entities, whether the ant, the sunflower, the frog, or the humans. We all are alive when we are active. There are many actions which happens in which even we don't even control. For example, even if we want to, we can't stop breathing. We'll be forced. We can hold that, maybe some people for 30 seconds, other for maybe 3 minutes, 6 minutes, but eventually we'll be forced to breathe, or the hearts will continue to pump and beat, the blood circulation will continue, and even when we go to rest, even at that time, all these activities continue, and while we are recuperating and refreshing our body. So to be alive is always to be active, and when the consciousness leaves the body, then we no longer exist in that body. We have moved on to the next body. So if we are always active, what are the things which compel us to act in a ways that we do? Let's take a few examples. Bhagavad Gita 3.27 says that false ego is one of the primary reason for most of the actions that we do. Prakrite kriyamanani gune karmani sarvasah ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. The translation says, the spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by the three modes of material nature. So we all inherently know that we all the actions that we do, we are the ones who are doing. For example, I'm a self-made man. I'm a self-made woman. I worked hard. I studied hard. I got a good education. I got a good job. I'm successful. So whenever, whatever actions, whatever results that we typically see, we always relate it back to the action that we did. Because of my actions, I attained the results which I intended to, which is true, but it is a partial understanding. It's not complete. And the next few slides will help us understand why. So let's think of an example, right? For example, we have a man who is using a forklift, and he's lifting this thousands of pounds of pallet, and he's moving from I think maybe from a trailer truck inside the warehouse. So the person can rightly claim that he did move the pallet from the trailer truck inside the warehouse, but he will never claim that I was the one who lifted it and moved. In the sense, he had the physical strength to lift and move it. He will always be conscious of the fact that he used the forklift, and he is different from the forklift. So as much as we are the doer of the activity, we also have to be cognizant of the fact that this body which we have, all the facilities in this material world that we have, it all has been provided by Supreme. And as much as, yes, we are acting, we do have free will, we do exercise those free will to act the way we act, it's also being fulfilled by Supreme by providing us the body, the intelligence, as well as the facility in this world. So the modes of material nature, which Vash always says, the mode of Sattvagun, Rajogun, and Tamogun, they come together and help us in doing the actions that we do and fulfill the desire that we have. So as much as we want to believe we are the doer, so to a certain extent that's true. We do have the free will to do. But it's primarily the modes of material nature which are carrying out the activities in this nature. So what are the reasons that compel us to act in the way that we are acting? The primary reasons, they are all acquired tendencies. Some of them are social tendencies that we acquire based on the society that we grow up. For example, in Japan, if you go and stand trying to get into a train, they are all very orderly. They all stand in queue. They go one after another, and they follow that so orderly pattern. But if you go to some of the other countries, like they know that they first come serve, first serve. Maybe 10 people can get in, and if you are lucky, if you're one of the first 10-20 people in front, then maybe you got in. Otherwise, you'll have to wait for the next train. And there, you just try to be first. Like at least when I was in Mumbai, which is a pretty crowded place, I didn't have to do much. I mean, I'm just saying jokingly, of course, but in the sense, as long as I go and be in front of the gate, I'll be automatically taken in. I don't have to do any effort. I'll be pushed and I'll be inside the compartment. I'm hopefully in front of the right train. Otherwise, I'll be pushed into a wrong train and I'll reach some other destination. And same thing when getting out. I don't have to do any work as long as I'm in front of the gate door. I'll be pushed out automatically, and I'll be out of the compartment when the time comes, and hopefully is the right station which I want to get out. So these tendencies that we acquire a lot is influenced by the society and how they're brought up in those societies. The next is familial tendencies. I mean, tendencies because of family, the way the culture or the activities, the rituals that we perform in the family. For example, like for let's say Christmas holidays or Diwali back in India, families get together. So it doesn't matter which place in the world you are, you'll always come together and spend some time together, share happy memories, and be grateful for everything you achieved, or like you follow customs, family customs, like in some at least some families, in some traditions, the female or the woman in the house, they typically feed the others of the family first. They play the role of host, and they eat in the end, so that everyone eats, so that they are playing a good host. So those are some of the tendencies we acquire as part of the way we are brought up in a familial situation. And lastly, experiences. We have interacted in this world, and we have acquired various experiences that determines how you respond to a similar situation in future. For example, like my daughter, I'm sure when we have multiple types of food placed in front of her, like let's say chocolate, sweets, even some savories and fruits, she'll always pick fruit. That's her favorite. It doesn't, and she'll always pick that up, and that's what she will eat. Vice versa, others might have different tendencies based on what experience they've had. Like one of the my sister-in-law, she, when she was very young, she was bitten by a dog. I mean, I think she was just playing, and the dog just thought that she is threatening, and it was a street dog back in India, and she got bitten by a dog, and it was of course to protect from rabies. She was given 14 injections or needles in her stomach, so that she can be protected. And you can imagine the traumatic experience she went through because of that one experience. And since then, it doesn't matter whether it's domestic dog or even street dog. She's very, very scared. She will be very far away, and she all her face expressions and like it will be very scary. Again, it's based on the experience that she has had. So these are some of the ways in which we acquire tendencies that force us to act in a way that we do. Before I continue, I just want to take maybe if you have any questions or reflections so far before we continue with other slides in the deck. You can unmute yourself or put your reflections or thoughts in the chat box. Makana says, thanks Makana, thanks for joining today. Any thoughts, any questions? Lucy says, we are all connected to each other. That's true. We all are. No? So let me continue with the rest of the slides. So as much as the current life experience that we have, which drives some of the actions we take, we also carry the past karma, which also forces us to act in a way that we have been acting. And this is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 2.62 as well. Desires start in the mind by contemplation. Dhyayato visayan pumsa sangas tesu pajayate sangat sanjayata kamaha kamat krodho vijayate. Translation: while contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them, and from such attachment, lust develops, and from lust, anger arises. So one is how you have been conditioned, that forces you to act. Second is when mind comes in contact to sense objects, through senses, that also develops the attachment. And as we saw previously, like we always have to be active. Being active means all our senses are also always active. The eyes always have, when they are open, when they are awake, eyes have to see. The nose has to smell. The ear has to hear anything, any sound which goes around. So it's always active. And because of the senses, when they are interacting with sense object, it constantly receives various impulses which mind is recording, and it starts developing desires, as Vaish previously walked us through, that the way all the impulses the mind has received, it builds thoughts, and those thoughts build desires. And based on those desires, then we speak out, we intend that we want to acquire that object, and that forms action, which in turn, those actions build habits, which build our character and future. And depending on what action you take, you may be acting in a plane of metal, in metal sense of in metal plane, or you may be acting in spiritual plane, and depending on what type of action you take will determine what kind of future you are building. And as previously mentioned, that if we develop attachment with any metal objects, because the mind is contemplating on it, it forms a kind of lust or desire for that object. And if you don't get that, for example, you want to get promoted this year, you work very hard, and maybe the company is not doing well, or the others are doing better, and if you don't get promoted, then you'll be very angry because you already attach yourself to your sense objects. So that's another way in which we act in the way that we act, because of the desires we have developed through mind interacting with sense object through senses. And mind is a bad master, as we saw it. If it is being guided by your false ego, which is your controller, and we are trying to be satisfying your desires, it might lead you to a place where you are not happy. And I mean, mind never gives you a break. If you're constantly mind is asking you to do this or that non-stop, it never gives you any break. And so in that sense, mind is a bad master if you follow all the desires that mind is bringing you up to. But if you take intelligence from spiritual books, then you can condition your mind so that it can actually be a friend. So mind can become best friend when used to liberate from false ego. So Bhagavad Gita 6.5 says, one must deliver himself the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is a friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. In fact, the pure soul is entangled in the middle world because the mind is involved with the false ego, which desires to lord it over material nature. And what it basically means is, given we are very inclined to enjoy, to do material enjoyment, then constantly we are forced to act, and constantly we don't get full satisfaction or happiness as we thought we will be getting. So allow yourself to be moved by love. So before that, I had one more point to make here. So what is wrong in acting in a way to fulfill our desires? That's inherently not wrong, because we all have to act, and we all get desires. In fulfilling them, why does it look like it looks wrong? The key reason is, when it's connected with false ego, it's for selfish motives, which potentially gives you some temporary happiness, but it will not give you a permanent, long-lasting happiness. It's compared to like fish out of water. So if a fish is out of water, like if it's a fish is swept and it comes out of water, then it doesn't matter what you give to the fish. You can give nice, delicious food. You can give it nice clothes. You can give it car. You can give it many different things, but fish won't be satisfied, because naturally belongs to water, and that's where it will get back its original nature and it will be satisfied. Similarly, when we are thinking of fulfilling, it's not that we should not have desires, it's not that we should not fulfill, but it has to be aligned with our supreme goal, so that we can have long-lasting happiness. So that's what is being pointed out. And to achieve that goal, we have to align with bhakti, or a sense of devotion to Supreme. So all our actions that we do, if we take guidance from Supreme and act in a way that is aligned with the nature and Supreme, that's when we get the highest form of happiness. So bhakti is a culture of guidance where we recognize that, yes, all the facilities that are given is to us has originated, like in this body, it doesn't belong to us, it has been given to us. This metal, all the metal facilities that we have is given to us, and when we act in that sense and we act in a sense of gratitude, we are always connected with Supreme, and we act in sattvic, we take sattvic actions, so we are happy. And Supreme is the best friend. He really has a best intentions, and like he wants us to be happy, and that's why he has provided and he has given the intelligence so that we can take advantage of this facility. And mind can be made best friend using the guidance from Supreme. So Supreme resides in each of us. He's guiding all of us all the time, and when we allow ourselves to be guided by him and take good decisions and do the right thing, then we will be recipient of all the love which emanates from him and from others, and we will also be able to reciprocate back to others as well. So what are some of the ways in which we can allow ourselves to be moved by love? Bhagavad Gita 10.10 says, Tesam satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. So the translation, to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So let's break it down and this further. So there are three principles to be guided by divine, so that we can be recipient of love and we can also share love with others. First is satata yuktanam, as mentioned in the previous verse. Always be engaged. Like we will always be active. We will always be engaged. It's just that we have to direct our engagement in connection with Supreme. That's when we'll get the highest benefit. Second, bhajatam, or always seek service. And third is priti purvakam, always lead with love. So let's look at each of these points in further detail. First is satata yuktanam, always be engaged constantly. So we're always thinking, we're always speaking, we are always taking words. In each of our thoughts, words and actions, if we are constantly engaged in doing spiritual activities, that will be most satisfying to us. So that's the first point. Second is start with hearing. So books have a powerful impact. So all the actions, all the intelligence that we get, it comes to us from books, spiritual books, as well as hearing from others who are already realized, like Vaish or other realized souls who have gone through this path. And if we hear from them, then we will be encouraged to think and act in higher spiritual plane. Set your values and make incremental progress. For any endeavor that we do, we always set a goal, whether it's a yearly goal or even study goal or a career goal, we always set this is what we want to achieve, and then on a daily basis we make progress. So similarly, even for spiritual enlightenment, we need to set our goals. It could be I will meditate every day, or I will read spiritual books every day, or I will associate with spiritual people every week. So we should set goals and make incremental progress. And spiritual obsession or greed is another element which is suggested, which is you need to have strong desire. If your desire is weak for spiritual progress, you will make weak progress as well. But if you have strong desire, then you'll seek out spiritual people, you'll seek out spiritual knowledge, and that will result in you constantly being engaged and making progress in spiritual path, leading you to more long-lasting happiness. And finally, sacrifice your now for what you can become. So as like any activity, any endeavor that we have taken, we always have to perform austerity. For example, if you want to get a good degree, you work day and night, you study hard to get a good degree. Similarly, if you want to get a good promotion, you again work hard and make austerity. You sacrifice some of your now or present for something what you can become. So similarly, if you want to become more advanced in future, in spiritually, you focus and put in effort in present, perform austerities by hearing spiritual topics, by associating and doing actions in spiritual, taking spiritual actions, so that you can make progress in spirituality. So that's how you can be constantly engaged in thought, words, and actions. I'll take a pause and maybe just see if you have any questions or reflections or any topic, anything that you heard so far which you liked. You can just repeat whatever you saw or heard, and you can just speak it back or type in the chat. Anything which you liked so far, or any question that came about in discussion so far. You can unmute yourself, or you can type it in chat box. There is a question on Facebook. Shanti asks, can we leave the past experiences? So I think it's related to like the example which was given, where you have impressions from your past experiences. Like in case of my sister-in-law, who was bitten by a dog, and she's very scared of dog. Now, how to come out of that fear? Like, I think that's what the question is leading to. Can we leave our past experiences? So it can't be. I mean, because those impressions are there, they cannot be. You can't just cut them out, but it has to be replaced. It can't be removed. So likely we'll have to take positive actions, which slowly lessens the past experience, fear, or whatever it could be, and overcomes it eventually. So yes, you can definitely overcome it, but you do need to take positive actions to replace those experiences with positive experiences, so that eventually it can no longer trouble you. That's what one thought I had. Does anyone else have any thought to this question? Can we leave the past experience? Any thought on that question? Anyone? Have you been in situations where you had a negative experience, and how did you overcome it? Like any way that you actually did something to overcome that negative experience, so that whatever fear or trauma or inclination that negative experience brought about, eventually subsided. Any suggestions anyone has? No. Okay. The only other thing I could think of was Shanti has another comment actually. She says, be greedy about sadhana and spiritual progress. Yes, that's true, Shanti, where if you have to make progress, you need to have very strong desire. And if you have strong desire, you will attain it. I think one of the teacher, Prabhupada, he gave an example. He was feeding like he was near a pond and there are ducks in the pond and he was just feeding those ducks. So some of the ducks which are in front, they were getting water he was feeding quickly because they were close by. And a duck which was maybe I think the farthest behind, it was not getting anything because it was very behind and he was just throwing to the ducks in the front. So I think the duck in the behind, it started quacking very, very loudly because it really wanted and nothing was coming its way. And all of the other ducks were in front getting all of the food that he was giving to the ducks. So he started quacking very, very loud and the duck caught Prabhupada's attention. And then Prabhupada started feeding the duck in the back, who was the farthest, I think, back. Because it was really quacking and it was really hungry. So then he said that is the kind of greed or strong desire you need to have for even spiritual progress. And if you have that kind of greed and desire, then Supreme will take notice and actually help you make progress on the spiritual path if you have that kind of desire. So yes, we need to be greedy about making spiritual progress. So let me continue with I do have a few more slides that I can cover in next few minutes. So first is, so just to recap. So what are the principles for divine guidance? If you want to be guided by Supreme, we have to be always engaged, or at least as much as possible engaged in spiritual activities. And second is bhajatam, or always seek service. When I was reviewing this, I was reminded of a recent experience I had last year, where I had a new leader or manager who had come in to our organization, and he was just meeting all the individuals, trying to talk to them, understand what their goals are, and etc. And I was planning how, before meeting, I was just planning what should I talk to him. Of course, I'll introduce myself, give my background, and also some of the desires and ambition I have, like how I can grow, etc. So I went and spoke to him. I gave him my background and I was telling him that I'm eager to grow. So let me know what opportunities are there which I can help with. So he mentioned, yeah, everyone wants to grow, but nobody wants to solve problems. Like I've got so many problems. If you can solve the problems, then yeah, it becomes easy to help you grow. So I said, yeah, that's fair. Definitely, please let me know how I can help, what problems can I solve, so that it helps the organization, and the organization will grow, which in turn means I'll also grow. So whenever, and we all know this inherently, like it's natural for us to understand that if we want to, grow and become, whether in career or even education or any sphere, we need to act or serve, and once we serve, then eventually it will lead us to growth. Similarly, even in spirituality also, it's the same form, where we seek out for service, and once we serve others, we naturally grow and we get more service. So service conquers Supreme's heart. So when we serve others, Supreme is pleased because everyone, all living entities are his emanation. They are all part and parcel of him. So whenever we are serving others, we are serving him indirectly, and he is happy with that. And service for service. Whenever we are serving, there is no material desire. There is no act like we are expecting anything in return. We are doing service for the sake of service. Start where you are. Unlike, say, in the case of material world, like if you want to become a doctor, you need to go through education, and then you can start serving as a doctor and things like that. But in spirituality, you don't need to go through any form of austerity or anything. You can just start serving wherever you are. You can start today, and there is no disqualification. There is no qualification. Everyone can engage themselves in the service of others. And there are various ways to serve. You can hear spiritual topics. That's also service. As much as speaking is a service as well, like how Vaish does. That's a service too. Sharing the knowledge of spirituality and hearing is also service. Chanting is a service. Doing mantra meditations or other form of meditation is also a service. Remembering a Supreme and expressing gratitude, thanking for providing this facility, providing the intelligence, all of that is also a service. Offering prayers and serving others. These are some of the forms of how we can serve others. And lastly, always lead with love, Preeti Purvakam. So this is another way in which we can be guided by Supreme. Love is in little things. So it's because it's not the thing, but it's the intention. And we all naturally understand this, because like if your child comes and gives something to you with love, it doesn't matter what it is, even small, you'll feel happy. In my case, like I remember a few years ago, my brother had come to, we were in Toronto at the time, and my brother had come to our house, and we had gone to just a shop close by, and I purchased him a very simple t-shirt, just because he had come. So I purchased him a simple t-shirt. I purchased two of the same thing, so he can have it, I can also have it. So it kind of a match. He was happy with it. And then I think after 2-3 years, after a long time, he had gone back to India, and I came to meet him in India. And when he came to receive me at airport, I saw him that he wore the same t-shirt which I had purchased him. It was a very simple t-shirt. It was not very great, but I was touched that he chose to wear that t-shirt. He chose to wear that t-shirt just to make me happy. So it's this small thing. It was not a great thing, but it was the intention. He wanted to make me happy. That's why he chose to wear that simple t-shirt and just come, just to express that how grateful he is. So it's the little things that we do in love, when serving others. It's the intention with which we act, which actually touches the other human beings. And love means to serve. It's an active principle. It's not just a feeling that I love you. As Vaish always says, have you ever had your spouse say, yeah, I love you, but then he just doesn't, or he or she doesn't do anything. I mean, he doesn't help out in cooking or clean up or anything, but just keeps saying, I love you. Then it doesn't really touch, because it's an act. It's an active principle. You need to express your love in action. And to serve means is to please, and to please means to sacrifice. So when we tolerate, when we hold back, when we perform some austerity, some sacrifice, some action, when we put in some effort to please other person, that's when it touches the other person. And sacrifice for the pleasure of Supreme is what is called as bhakti. So when we are doing actions, when we control our senses, when we control it from not fully engaged in sense gratification, when we engage our senses in higher activities of higher consciousness, those kind of sacrifices is what bhakti is about. Bhakti is service and devotion to others. So that's Priti Purvakam. So always lead with love. And lastly, what are the benefits of following these principles? One, if you follow these active principles of having thinking, acting, and love for Supreme, and serving others with selflessly without any expectation in return, Supreme takes notice, because who has provided all this facility, he takes notice that you're not being selfish, you're actually acting for others' benefit. And then he gives real intelligence, buddhi yogam. So given you are doing selfless service, he will reveal the reality to you and remove the illusion. So highest truth is reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. So he will give you more and more intelligence to understand what is the highest purpose of life, what is the best what is the best thing that you can do for yourself and for others. And he will also help you in taking steps to progress towards those goals. And yena mam upyantite, reality is the Supreme. Because everything that we see, everything in the material world is, as Vaish always says, they're always breaking. They're always being destroyed constantly. Like our body, it's getting old constantly. Cells are being produced and destroyed. Same thing with our house, our street. Every second they are being destroyed. But Supreme is reality, and we'll realize that he is never destroyed. He's always there. So those are some of the benefits of following these principles, where we'll get the real intelligence to realize Supreme, and he will help us to make progress towards attaining our ultimate goal of life, which will make us to be happy. So, so finally, moved by love, eternal joy that moves you to act. So when we give to others, when we serve in service to others, we get the most highest joy, and we have to pay it forward. Someone has kindly given us this knowledge or everything else that we have, and we can give it to others so that we can continue to receive, and we can continue to give. So those are some of the thoughts I wanted to share today. Thank you so much for joining today and discussing. Any questions or any reflections, anything that you heard today which you liked, or you would like to, maybe if you have anything else in your mind that you want to share? No? Okay. And one request is, if in case, if you have any thoughts, Tony says, I'm grateful for this group. Thank you, Tony. Thank you for joining today and sharing this thought. Linda says, peace and love to all. Yes, thank you, Linda. Definitely. One request I had was, do you have any suggestions for what should we discuss next week? Like any question that you have in mind, maybe we can discuss next week. Why should we be back? He'll take a couple of more weeks before he's back. So till that time, do you have any suggestions what we should discuss next week? You can type in, you can unmute yourself, or you can type in the chat box. Okay, so we have 1 minute left. So what we'll do is we'll do a short mantra meditation before we sign off today. So let's close our eyes and take deep breaths. I forgot. Let me quickly post the mantra itself so that it's there in front of us when we chant, in case if you want to see the words. So let's take deep breath, and then we'll chant the Hare Krishna mantra. You can repeat with me. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So thank you everyone. Thank you for joining today and sharing your thoughts. It was wonderful to be discussing with you again. And as Vaish always encourages, so let's continue the transcendental vibration. Let's sign off by saying Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Thank you everyone.
Hare Krishna.